Okay, everybody, you heard me read Jason's email, and now I have him here with me. Hi, Jason.
Hey everybody.
Remember that some people are seeing this, but mostly are listening.
Yep.
He waved because
I
we're
waved
doing
just
a
in
video.
case.
So just keep that in mind. Okay, so what I want to do is go over your email because what I like to do is try to flush out the questions that I know listeners have in their mind, or, when you're sitting at home listening to something like this, you're like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And this way we'll just go through all of that. Okay. So
Sounds
let's
good.
start with this year. Well, let's start with, okay, so little backstory. I went to Utah to do readings, and Jason came and saw me, and he first turned me on to what's the coffee shop? What do they call it
Dutch
again?
Brothers.
Dutch Brothers, which we don't
Yeah.
have in LA, which we do, but I think it's like you have to drive far out. It's not LA proper, it's somewhere in Southern California.
Okay.
Um, and then we were doing a session because Jason took a mentorship with me, right, Jason?
Yep.
Go
It was
ahead and
awesome.
tell everybody how awesome
No,
it was.
it really
No,
was. It was fun. It was fun and then also scary because you had to tell me to get out of my own way. And that
yes,
was scary and hard.
yes, yes. Because sometimes on these mentors, we're doing like working on things we want to do in our life. Sometimes people are trying to get used to their sight, or sometimes people want to go professionally reading. But
Mhm.
either way, all of these things are changes for people. What I am finding is that it is definitely tripping people out, like, oh, shit, I have to like make some changes, but it's good for people.
Yeah.
So while we're having this one day, he has like this drink that is handed over to him by a mysterious hand.
A
And
loving
I
hand.
a loving hand. And I was like, "What is that?" And he said it's
Swig.
swig. Yes.
It's a
And
swig drink.
explain to everybody, because I think it'll be better, because instead of me reading about it and telling, and then I got intrigued. I was like, what is this, some new coffee? Because you know me, I'm always going to be down for a coffee shop, but tell everybody what it is.
Yeah, so I live in a religious state and to say the
Very,
least,
to say the
to say the
least.
least, and not a lot of people, well, they're not supposed to drink coffee. Coffee is
Yes.
outlawed. So one of the
Wait, it's
go-arounds
not
for people,
outlawed. Don't confuse people. It's not
oh,
outlawed in the
fair.
state.
Yeah, it's not against the law.
The religion,
The religion
the
doesn't allow you
Mormon
to drink it.
religion, yes,
Yeah,
which
thank
I
you.
connect because I grew up. This is why I'm so like over the top coffee girl, because I grew up Seventh Day Adventist, which my new term is that we are cousin religion, because people always thought I was a Mormon growing up, and we were also not allowed to drink coffee. And Jason put a smile on my face when I said, "Do you know what
Uh,
postum is?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know postum." I'm like, "Holy shit, we are cousins. We are
it's so
religious
true.
cousins."
Yeah, oh yeah. My mom loves Postum.
Ugh, it's terrible.
I know.
Let's describe real quick before he gets into swig. By the way, for those of you who are not raised in a cult like religion that refrains you from drinking coffee, postum comes in a bottle that looks like instant coffee, tastes sort of
Sort of.
like instant coffee. If you were to take it instant coffee and water it down even more, then you would have postum. And I grew up with it. And when he said that, it just made me smile. It's like, okay, I wasn't alone in the world
Oh yeah,
drinking this horrible drink. Okay, so, and it has no caffeine, of course,
of
because
course.
it always makes sense, just like growing up vegetarian, which is the Seventh Day Adventist thing, and eating fake meat made sense too. Like, if we're not going to eat meat, why are we pretending to eat meat? It's like smoking a fake cigarette. Anyway, so that leads us to the swig
To swig.
saga. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's actually quite genius because a lot of people go there and it's delicious. So what they do is instead of using coffee with
Hmm.
cream, they have concocted a whole bunch of like a whole menu
Yeah.
of what you can do with soda. So you take your favorite soda, add a sprinkle of this, a sprinkle of that, and you have a wonderful drink that you can just devour. It's
But
amazing.
what's the sprinkles of what? It's a
Sprinkles could
sprinkle
be
of syrups and
syrups, creamers, fruits. What else?
fruits, like
Oh yeah,
actual real fruit
yeah. Or they do like a
in the
puree.
soda. Oh, okay. In the
They'll
soda.
also do huh? Oh yeah. And then you just mix it up.
Okay.
It's it's great.
He likes it. Even
Yeah,
though let's make it clear, you
I
drink
do.
coffee and you're not following those rules.
No. Listen,
Right.
I'll have two or three cups of coffee in the morning and then go get swig later
Oh,
on.
damn. Okay, so
Yeah,
he is
yeah,
definitely, yeah. Just to be clear,
yeah.
he is not following the whole like Mormon you know, ways. But
Yes.
my question that I'm curious about is in the Seventh-day Adventists, we weren't allowed to drink any kind of caffeine, even in soda. So I grew up with like root beer and 7 Up. And honestly, weirdly, I don't like Coke and stuff because I think I didn't grow a taste for it as a kid, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My like taste palettes goes towards like root beer and stuff because that's what I grew up on. But my question is, why are they okay with soda having caffeine in it, but not coffee?
Yeah. So their latest scriptures say that you
Wait,
can't have
latest?
hot.
Is it
Yeah,
updated?
so it's updated as the 1800s, right?
Okay,
So they're like an addition to the additional scriptures that they have. Because they have a Bible, then their Book of Mormon, which they're known for, and then an
right.
additional set from the prophet.
Okay, and your prophet said no coffee.
It said no hot drinks,
All even tea?
even tea
What
if
about
it
hot
has
chocolate?
caffeine. Hot chocolate, everybody devours. So it's like I can't follow it. I don't understand it. Like,
Jason, you are speaking my language. We had a prophet who was a female, by the
oh,
way. Ellen G. White is her
congratulations.
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get excited. She was like against people wearing women couldn't wear pants, women shouldn't ride a bike because that's obscene. And
Right.
you weren't allowed to go to theater because in those days I think she was meaning like the theaters that were like, raunchy and stuff
Okay.
but didn't translate to movie theater. So I didn't see a real movie in a theater till I was 16.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. And you want to know the
Oh,
name of the movie?
yes.
Roxanne. Rock
Yes.
by Steve Martin.
Big
And I
nose.
walked in, and you relate to this, and I'm sure those of you listening will relate. And I'm like, am I gonna go to hell? I'm walking in.
Uh,
I really didn't think I was gonna go to hell, but it was like that programming popped in. And I was like, there's nothing happening, just as I thought, nothing. Like they made it seem like you're going to walk in and people are like, you know, having sex with each other and
right.
swinging from the chandeliers or something.
Right.
And you walk in and it's like people just, hey, what's up? Eating their popcorn, nothing.
And enjoying life.
Didn't make any exactly. And I remember that's why I started doing it because I presented the argument. Luckily, my parents had a lot of issues, but they were kind of like teaching us to be like think logically. So I was like, well, here's my argument. There's VHSs now. We can rent movies. This makes no sense.
Hmm.
Nothing's going on. And they were like, okay. Because my aunt who raised me wasn't raised this. But anyway, going too far. But my point is that she had all these like weird rules and her rule was just no caffeine, period. But we devoured hot chocolate too. So
Yeah.
I feel you. Crazy. So that is so interesting. But with all that said, next time I come to Utah, I definitely got to try it.
Oh yeah. You're getting it. It's gonna be fun.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it
Yeah.
because I think it's so funny that they were like, well, no one said we can't make soft drinks with.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's different type of pop-up stores all the time.
And people would want to know why not iced coffee since it's hot drinks? Is there any logic
I
to
have
this?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
And hence everybody, this is what it's like when you grow up in an atmosphere that basically tells you that's just the way it is.
Right.
Nobody knows. That it's true. You'll be like, this isn't me. Nobody knows. The prophet, some crazy prophet, wrote it. At least ours. She was great.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so moving to your story. Anyway, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Yeah.
indulging me. Okay, so let's get to your story.
Okay.
Let's start with you have a couple of, well, two, three stories. So let's
Yep.
start with you and your husband's anniversary. This was the lovely hand that passed him his loving drink. Um, why don't you explain what happened that first story? Go for it.
Yeah, so it was interesting because we went to a hotel for our anniversary and we both were just passed out. And I woke up and I looked to the side of my bed and
Hmm.
there was a figure that I couldn't see through
Okay.
and it was stocky
Okay.
and it reminded me of like a dwarf like from the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Like it wasn't tall, it was stocky big, and I felt that I saw green, like
Hmm.
a foresty green, but
Kind
I
of
didn't
like you're
see him.
kind of like describing almost like a fairy.
It,
That's basically what or fae or elves or things that or gnomes, not gnome though.
okay,
Bigger than a gnome. I'm
it's
asking you.
big. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
More like an elf.
yeah, I would think so.
Kind of like in Harry Potter type of elf size.
Yeah, no, it was taller than that. It
Taller
would
than
have
that.
it would have been like a 4 foot person.
Okay. Okay. Okay, totally makes sense. Okay. I mean, makes sense to what you're seeing. I'm like, totally
I don't
makes
know if it
sense.
makes sense.
Everybody is seeing these, Jason. I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably the swig drinks that are bringing
I
you
I will have more of them then. Because it was just like I was looking over there and I just was like, okay, there's something there. I'm not scared.
right.
I'm curious.
Hmm.
And so I'm just, but how do you explain that? I don't know. That's why you're
That's why I'm
involved.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
so it let me just go over some details. Did you notice any facial stuff? Any facial hair and the color you said of the skin was green?
It wasn't necessarily, I couldn't see color, but I felt that there was green.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good
It
detail.
was, yeah, it was like a forest green.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I got it. So anything else about that moment in time happen
No,
that you can
well,
remember?
Well, it was interesting because this is I've taken your class before about speaking
Mhm.
to aliens,
Yeah.
and that was close to that time when I was really like trying to be receptive and open, and so I was really intrigued on like I was hoping that I'd see or communicate with the alien being,
Mhm.
but I didn't know, and so when I woke up, I was like, okay, it doesn't I don't know if this is alien or not it because of the stock and like how wide it was
Right.
and just
Right. It
so I
wasn't
didn't
what
know.
people typically describe as alien to you.
Right. Right.
Right. Mhm. Okay. I have an idea of what it is, but
Yay.
we're gonna move forward. Okay.
Okay.
So story 2 happened 10 years ago and you're at your parents' and all of that. Um, it was you and your dog, you're hanging out, and you saw something. So why don't you describe story 2?
Yeah, so this one was really cool because it was like a vivid it looked like almost like it looked like an actual child was in the doorway.
Mhm.
Like if I hadn't have done a double take and see it just disappear, like I would have
So it
thought
was
that it could have
solid
it
looking.
was
That's the
solid looking.
apparition. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a true apparition then. Okay.
Really? Because
Yes.
it was so cool because it was I look over and I see this kid and he's just tiny and he just is he can walk obviously like a
Mhm.
toddler and
Right.
he looks up and he's smiling
Mm.
And I'm looking at him, and then I look over at my dog, and my dog's staring right in his direction. And I look back, and then he's gone. But I know that
Oh.
I saw that he had blonde hair,
Mhm.
and he was just playful and just fun. So it was
Okay.
really cool.
Yeah, and you weren't afraid or anything.
Oh no, I got excited afterwards. I was just like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? It
Okay.
was pretty cool.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so your third story is over 20 years ago. So we're going way back into the college days.
Yep,
And you were dating a girl, and it was a whole different life, let's
a whole
just say.
different, yes,
This
it's
was
a different
Mormon,
time period.
Mormon Jason.
Yeah,
I'm taking it. Okay.
yes,
All right,
exactly
take
right.
nice good boy,
Yep,
Mormon good boy Jason. Okay.
want to do everything to the book,
Right. Wanted
you
to
know?
do everything in the book so you can have all the things because all religion is about death. Let's just face it. It's all
Right,
about what you do now to prepare you for death, not to help you for this life. No, only to prepare you for death.
exactly right. So I was dating this girl, and she's phenomenal, right? She's just this awesome girl, but I was so anxious for unknown reasons at the time,
Right.
and I just couldn't figure out why I wasn't at a level like I was excited. I was excited about it, but I wasn't.
Right.
And so I was like in this world of just like I'm excited, but something's wrong. I don't know what's
Mhm.
wrong. So I was at church one day, and I was just trying to figure out what the next steps were, because I knew that if I took a next step of like keeping things going, it what would happen? I don't know. And it kind of freaked me out.
Right.
Um, so I just like leaned my head down, and I started to pray, and I said, help me to know if I should break up with her." And I heard this like it's a creepy like whisper in my ear that said no. It was like this creepy, eerie, scratchy no in
Mhm.
my ear. Nobody else heard it. I wasn't friends around me trying to play tricks on me, but I heard it
Okay.
and didn't know what it meant. I kind of was like, well, it was kind of creepy, so maybe it wasn't this spiritual, magical experience. So I'm still going to do what I think I should do and break up with her. So I went and broke up with her that day, and it was okay. Like I was still kind of bummed, but I've always wondered what was the purpose of the no. Like that
So
is
what you said, so you bowed your head and prayed and asked if oh, okay, and something okay, I feel like when I first read this, I flipped it around to you asking, "Should I marry her?" And you heard no. Now this changes everything
yeah.
because this makes more sense to okay. All right. Awesome. Oh, look what you put at the end. You even did a little throwback to my Starbucks
Oh yeah.
podcast. Thank you. I just
No.
like scrolled down and I was like, and don't you
Well,
think that's so funny that I my first reading was in a Starbucks and then
I love
I
it.
was raised to think caffeine was evil.
I know.
It was going to send me to hell. Okay. Um
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, religion.
Yep. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm excited to tell you what I see. And I just want to clarify because I want everyone to be clear. We don't want to hint the reason why this you were struggling at the end with this relationship. You can just come out and tell
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I am a gay man and happily married. Didn't know what life could be as a gay person,
Right.
living their true self. Speaking of being fearful,
Hmm.
um, just couldn't be happier.
And was in a situation where he was obviously being oppressed and not allowed. So that's just a beautiful. I think it's
Yeah.
perfect during Pride to
Yeah.
like have this as let me just say this before I get into this. Listen everyone. Nobody on this other side gives a fuck what you're doing. They die and they go, and I've been like thinking like how can I comment on pride, and but I, you know me, it's intuitive, and I just go, I keep hearing like it'll come natural, it'll be a natural segue, and that's how I like to do it, because otherwise I don't want it to look performative.
Yeah.
And here's what truly what I want people to know. Every time I do a reading with someone who has passed, who gave family members a difficult time to them, they are like, oh my God, not oh my God, let's change it. Oh my word, whatever. No, just kidding. Nothing against people who believe in God in the true sense of the word love, because what I think God is love. But people will say, I didn't realize all of this stuff I was so tied up about and so upset about is so stupid. And it's beyond that. Like I had no idea. And I was scared and I followed this way of believing. And over in this realm, people can change the way they look. Your grandmother can look like some old, bald, muscle building guy if she wants. A man can look like a tall, beautiful blonde, because in that realm, it's just energy. So the energy of who you are is all people care about. They don't care about what you look like, where your heart's leading to, what you're loving, who you're loving. And they kind of finally realize it a little too late, and they may have caused pain to people. So they always want to say, I am so sorry. They always want to apologize, and they always realize how ridiculous it looked. And sometimes I know it's a little too late, but if you can know this, that who you're being, and it's the energy. It's always about the energy. Even before pronouns was introduced, they used to show me like just tune into the energy of people. See what, when I would do readings when it's about love and stuff, I would say, well, I feel like you're attracted to feminine energy. And sometimes people go like, yes, get a little uptight. And I'm like, calm down. It's okay. I see energy. I don't see it as like the physical gender. It's because we have both feminine and masculine energy. And I literally would say, well, this person kind of leans more in their masculine, but has a little of the feminine, helping them out. This is how that world looks at everything. So all of these fights we're having start to look ridiculous. So just know that the message is always trying to, obviously, it may not feel like it. They're trying to help in that realm create a different world where we can, it almost looks like we look very ancient and childish and elementary. And even though that sounds like weird, because some of these people contributed to the pain of this world, they are going, well, I'm trying to be a part of helping shift the energy and change into this world. So know that if you've had someone who hurt you, who has passed, who didn't accept who you are, they have to deal with it in that realm. Just saying. All right, I think that's a great segue. So let's get
Mhm.
into Jason's little
Yeah.
mood music, little mood music,
Yeah.
little mood music. Okay, the first one is what I'm excited about. I absolutely know what that is, and it's kind of funny because this keeps coming up. Like, a few people are seeing these what do we call them? Elemental, or what I call alien of the earth. And if you listen, by the time you hear this podcast, there's a podcast before this one that I did with Autumn where we talk about this, where we talk about that, what we call the Green Man. And I think the Lorax is really based off the Green Man. The Lorax, Dr. Seuss, the movie and the book, about the energies that stand guardian to the trees and to the planet Earth. They are alien, but they're alien of this world,
Hmm.
because there's many different types of alien species. Those people don't understand. There's many alien, just as much as there's different types of us. There's different types of people, and then there's different types of animals, and there's different types of living beings. there's different types of beings that are not human, which is aka alien. And the ones that are of the earthly realm kind of deal with the earth. They tend to get attracted to people they think are kind of similar to them. Like, you care about the earth, you're into nature. It's where you kind of get your spiritual, breath from, where you kind of get recharged. So they'll find you and they'll speak to you, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and it might even be like a reawakening.
Yes.
I think that's might be the most important part of that, what you just said, because in my spiritual life, like in my Mormon life, I should say,
Right.
the trees and the forests and the mountains is where I would go to pray the gay away.
There you
And
go.
I haven't gone up
Oh,
to the
poor
mountains by
baby.
myself
Yeah.
for a
Because it
while.
probably doesn't have a good memory. It was a different, it almost has like a PTSD energy
Yeah,
to it, right?
yeah,
Like when I was doing that, it was not like, screw that. I'm not going to acknowledge that. So I feel like this little being was like, time to come back to that and time to reconnect. This is where, and I just get like the chills. This is where you're going to find yourself again. But this time,
cool.
it will be in the true way, not in the way that you were oppressed and abused on, because that's like a form of abuse to treat someone to fight against who they are.
Yeah,
So it's almost like a healing and a reawakening. So I
that's
feel like
cool.
it was trying to beckon you to like come back to the earth,
Cool.
to the trees.
And this is a perfect time because it's summer now.
Yeah, and you asked, you said, I want to connect. So the ones that kind of feel connected to you are like, we're here.
Cool.
Okay, you asked us to come. They will respond. So that's the first one, and I think that's super awesome. And this is
Yeah.
why I love to operate the way I work, which is more from an intuitive flow, which is why I felt like talking about, the sips, and then talking about religion, and then talking about, all the things you went through, and going into pride goes right into, like I said, there are energies that are trying to help us in different ways. And it's going to look different and be different for each person. Okay, so now we're going to venture to story 2 and the little boy. This is a whole different thing. Now we're moving into the spirit realm. So
Yeah.
just to confirm, yes, what you saw is an apparition. Apparitions are kind of rare because it's hard for them to hold that frequency still enough and long enough for you to see it in a solid form. But super cool, doesn't happen a lot to people. Soon as I saw that, I saw this little boy. It was an actual little boy who passed. For some reason, I keep seeing this little boy with a dog, like a white little dog, with him. It is connected to the home. I feel like this little boy actually passed in that space. And it
Oh,
doesn't have to be in the house, it could be the land. When I see him, he looks kind of 80s almost. I want to say like even his haircut or just even his style is more like 80s.
okay.
That era. It's not like, Victorian, but everyone goes to the, that. No. This looks like pretty recent in a sense. I mean, I feel like the 80s is recent because I'm in denial, but that's okay. It was like, Adela, shut up. Okay, I don't need your input, everybody. I get it. Okay. But yeah, so I feel like I see, and I feel like he passed. He passed from natural causes, meaning like an illness, not from anyone harmed him. But it's kind of interesting. It's like he had this dog that comforted him, and I do see that he had this family. It was very heartbreaking situation. It's very connected to the land and the space, but not to your family.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's someone familiar to you,
Nope.
right? Yeah. And I feel like it'd be interesting to know because I see the house when it does it. Do you know if the house had yellow walls?
I think it did.
Okay,
Yeah, I
yellow.
actually do.
I see these yellow walls, and do you know how long were your parents? This was your parents' house, right?
Yeah.
How long have
Yeah.
they been in that house?
We moved there in 1998.
Okay, so this was after. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I feel like this happened in the 80s. I'd be curious. I mean, we know you can't ask your parents to be like, listen, I went on a podcast and immediately it's not going to work. It's not going to fly. But but you could do your own investigation if you want. And I do feel like I see like this family tragically lost this little boy.
Mm,
Tragically meaning he got very ill, very sick. Um, and he just knew, I don't know, I feel like he saw you like his dad.
cool.
Like, but he doesn't, when spirits pass and he may not have even known he's passed, they don't see you. They see an image, like kind of imagine a filter goes over you and it reminds him of his father.
Huh.
For some reason, I feel like he just kind of didn't accept 100% he died. But I think it's more to do with his mother's pain of his death.
Okay.
So it'd
Okay.
be
I'm gonna
interesting.
research that.
Let's research it. Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely see the woman. She's got like this long, blonde, kind of straight hair, and something about the dad, almost like maybe the dad never got over it. Maybe they got divorced. Something happened where it affected his dad in a way that took his dad's life down a bad path,
Okay.
almost. So
Okay.
that's what I see. Yeah,
Great.
80s. I'm
Great.
gonna say okay. So your
I'll look into
third
that one.
story. Okay, and then we'll be looking forward to the update.
Yeah.
Your third story. Well, Jason, I hate to say this, but this isn't a positive one.
I was gonna say I want to know all about it.
This was definitely a trickster spirit. I feel like something was absolutely, because at first I was like, well, let me look. I didn't get a hit on it right away. And I was like, it could be that something was trying to grab his attention and kind of scare him a little bit so he'll like pay attention. But I was like, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. But then when you emphasize, oh no, this was telling you no, like don't break up with her, then I was like, okay, this makes more sense. And I feel like something was, and this is why people need to understand, spirits can be trickster spirits. Spirits can try to trick you into pretending like, oh yes, I'm trying to guide you, I'm trying to help you. And that's why you always got to make sure you're getting confirmation if you're opening yourself up to spirits in the other realm. But I feel like something was leading you, trying to lead you down the wrong path. Weirdly enough, you're like praying, and I totally believe, just because we're not, religious, I totally believe if your heart believes in something and you're coming from a good place, you're not hurting people, you're not oppressing people, because believe true Christian people come from love, um, then positive things could come to you through that for sure. But I feel like because this whole situation feels more like not coming from that, because you trying to decide what you want to do, and you were in an energy that was teaching you, I feel it's darker to oppress people and to control people. So I feel like something was enjoying fucking with you, and
Yeah.
your intuition override it. That's the amazing part, because your own intuition was like, no, I'm not going to listen to that. But I definitely feel like it sounding the way it sounded and being that way kind of like wanted to scare you into continuing the path that you were maybe going to go on, which was to marry her. Because you could have went a different direction, like, oh shit, okay, I don't want to piss off the demons or whatever, I'll marry
Right.
her. Yeah. So I feel like
Yeah.
something negative was trying to guide you in the wrong direction.
That actually makes me feel better.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh shit, Jesus spoke to me and I didn't listen.
No, Jesus
But
did
I
not
didn't feel
speak to
like I
you.
should. Yeah.
No, but something wanted to make you feel like it was Jesus telling you
Hmm.
not to do that, because most religion is operated through fear and intimidation. And so what better way to like intimidate a young man who's struggling with these things, to give the impression that some kind of powerful being is like, yeah, and being, you know kind of evil about it by trying to send you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Because
Ew, that's
I feel like it's more evil to try to send somebody down the wrong path than it is to you know, then like in other words, like to me, people think evil is like all these crazy things. I think evil lies in when you're trying to hurt somebody just because you can. That's
right.
evil to me. Not just all these crazy stories people talk about, when they watch horror movies, but to mess someone's life up. That's on purpose is evil to me.
Well, the fact that they're in a church where people pray, like that's creepy enough for me.
Well, that church is not coming from a good place.
Okay.
Right? So if
I
you're
could see
in
that.
if you're in an atmosphere where this religion is like, listen, we believe in God, we believe in creator, and just do your thing. We just kind of come here, we talk to God, and then we leave each other alone. But when you're in oppression and control, that's dark.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're doing in the name of God or the name of whatever. It's dark to
Yep.
control people and to oppress them and to scare them and to make them worship you. It's darker. That's what I
Yeah.
think is so ironic about these things, because I'm like, you're coming from a darker place than, you're accusing other things from.
Yeah.
Because true light comes from free thinking and encouraging you to follow yourself and listen to yourself and honor yourself and be free. Darkness wants to control, oppress, and shrink you through power, wanting to be worshipped and be power over you. So I'm not surprised about that.
Man,
So
that
you rose above it.
that's kind of refreshing actually. And also makes me feel a little icky.
Yeah, it does feel icky, because that's what I feel about a lot of those things, about those types of religions. That's why, like, when you see cults, they're darker to me,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about the human being trying to gain control and power over people and oppress them. That's very dark.
Yeah.
Light. See, this is why I feel light doesn't sell as much, and dark is more the sexy sell to people. Horror movies and all this stuff, because it is always about like, do what we say and and the twists and the turns and that's
Yeah.
all light. But the light version is like, yeah, do what you want. It's
It's
your
easy going.
choice. Yeah, do
Yeah.
what you want. It's like Yoda, like, you got to learn, figure it out. And people are like, well, that's not fun. Yeah. And so people will go towards something that tortures them. That's why people will go into those type of programs where someone's like screaming at them and breaking them down. And that's very dark to me.
Yeah. I agree with you.
So you won. You
We
Jedi'd
did.
it.
We
You won.
did.
You
I
Jedi'd
did.
it. You Jedi'd it.
Yay.
Yay. You did a Jedi. And
Yay.
you like rose above it and you listened to your own intuition.
Oh, thanks for saying that, because that is pretty cool thinking about it.
And it's very hard.
Yeah.
Very difficult. You did it in
Yes.
the most difficult circumstances. This is why I always tell people, listening to your intuition in times like this is what learning how to listen to your intuition is for, because this is when it's difficult. That was a major decision and you did it. So you should
Yeah.
be really, 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 really proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Seriously, I'm serious, dead serious.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing all these awesome stories with us.
Yeah. Thanks
And
for giving me answers.
yeah, I
It's
think
been
you
20
had a lot
plus
of them.
years.
I feel like you had a lot of them already, but you just didn't trust it. But
Yeah, that's could be true.
yeah, I just confirmed it for you.
Yes, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
excited to research the middle story, the 80s.
Yes, and then update us for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason.
Oh, thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah.